I don't know who is watching this, but if you are watching this and you're someone who gets triggered really fast, I suggest that you don't watch this anymore and stop it right here. This video is not meant to show hate against anyone or to put down anyone. This is just my point of view of what's happening in Sri Lanka. So if you're someone who gets triggered, please do stop watching. Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka is a tiny island in the Indian Ocean with over 21.67 million in population. Some of the things Sri Lanka is known for is the growth in tea business. In fact, it's one of the best in the world. Tourism is one of the biggest income in the country, and Sri Lanka has the highest literacy rate in South Asia. So Sri Lanka has various ethnic groups and religions. So looking at the numbers through Google, Buddhism is the official religion, which is about 70.2 percentage. Hinduism is about 12.6 percentage. Muslims about 9.7 percentage. Roman Catholic 6.1 percentage. Other Christians 1.3 percentage, and then a few other religions which is about 0.05 percentage. So before we go into details, I would have a short run through what happened in Sri Lanka last year. So most of us heard about the Easter Sunday bombings where 269 innocent people died. It was carried out by Zahran Hashim, the founder of National Tawhid Jamaat, known as NTJ. So there were 9 suicide bombers who were involved across 6 different locations on Easter Sunday last year. So the report of explosion, which came about 8:45 in the morning on 21st of April. So there was 3 blasts that happened in 3 different churches. One was in the capital, one was in Negombo, which is a bit close to the capital, and then the eastern side of Batticaloa. And the other 3 bombings were in the capital, Kingsbury, Cinnamon Grand, to name some of the hotels that were bombed during this period. So the point here is it was carried out by a bunch of idiots who call themselves Muslims. So as you know, the media portrays Muslims as terrorists, and when idiots like Zahran Hashim, who use religion to justify what they did, gives us a negative image about Muslims. However, I want to quote something in Islam as a Muslim that we all believe in. Whoever kills an innocent, it shall be as if he killed all of mankind. So if you understand this, you understand. If you don't understand, you don't understand. There's no place in Islam for killing innocents or bombing a religious workplace. I'm not going to talk about religion here. That's not the purpose here today. If you're not a Muslim and you're listening to this, be honest to yourself and think, I'm pretty much sure that you have at least one Muslim friend you grew up with, a Muslim who hates idiots like Zahran, who invites you over to his place for Eid, provides you with watilapam and biryani, and he would definitely come to your place for Christmas and Vesak. We Sri Lankans, we grew up in such a way where we celebrate everything together. Yes, there are a very stupid bunch of idiots who have completely different view of life, more like their own version of the religion. You have idiots who support Pakistan when Sri Lanka is playing Pakistan because they say Pakistan is a Muslim country, and that's just pure stupidity. And I'm a Muslim, and I'm very proud of my country and how far we have come from civil war to developing to poverty, how we have overcome everything. My dad is a very proud Sri Lankan who was in the army for 10 plus years during the war. So we are proud Sri Lankans. So Sri Lanka wouldn't be Sri Lanka without Muslims, without Hindus, without Buddhists. We all grew up together making wonders around the world. We have Sri Lankans who have been on the top. We have Sri Lankans who are achieving, making history out there. So, however, the Easter bombing that took place did give some extremists an opportunity to put down Muslims. You have ministers who openly tell you don't buy from Muslims. You have TV channels calling Muslims terrorists. So The whole reason why I'm doing this video is a point of view. I mean, being a Sri Lankan Muslim, being a minority in Sri Lanka, this is my point of view of what's happening. And so I got a friend of mine who is just a 21-year-old kid. We grew up together, such a cool kid. Got arrested last year during the Easter bombing just because of two factors. One was he was a Muslim, and one, he was from Saudi Arabia. So this is not scripted. Whatever I said right now is what I'm saying it out of my heart. So they're not scripted, and my conversation with my friend is not scripted at all. So it's just us talking about what's happening to Muslims in Sri Lanka. Hi, Mishaal.
Hey man, what's up?
How are you, bro? How are
Long
you doing?
time, bro. I'm
Yeah,
doing
man.
good, man.
Okay, so let's get to the topic. Okay, so
All right.
why were you arrested last year?
So I was actually arrested because I was born in Saudi Arabia, and it was mentioned in my Sri Lankan ID that I was born in Saudi. And yeah, the cops, they came into our place, they saw that, and then they arrested us.
Okay, did they tell you on what basis they arrested you or why they
So
arrested you?
basically, what happened was like me and my roommates, two other people from Saudi whom I knew from Saudi, were living there, and all three of us were born in Saudi. And apparently, we were the only Muslim tenants in the apartment complex. And then someone had apparently, like, since we were always like going to our our hometowns in the weekends, some like we'd be carrying bags and shit like that, and like coming up the steps and stuff. So someone had complained during this time that the people like this, they're Muslims, like they're the only Muslims here, and they keep going out and stuff. uh, they were like suspicious for us, and then that's why like the cops came into our place like the first time. And then the first time they just like recorded our information and shit like that, and then they left. But they like searched the place and stuff. And then the second time when they came, like they just came and they had like weapons and stuff. And they came inside, they trashed the place, and then they asked us, so who are you working for? We're gonna bomb like next. And we were like, what the fuck is happening, like what? And then like this guy suddenly like hammered me with his gun, like the butt of his gun. And then my roommate was like, the fuck? And then like he got slapped really hard. And then they kept asking like, where the fuck are you guys gonna bomb next? In like pure Sinhalese filth. And like we were like, we didn't know what the fuck to say. And we tried to like say that listen, we are just like people who came from abroad, and we're like working here in these companies. And we had like our degrees like on the walls. And then they saw those, and they were like, this is what you guys do, you guys go abroad, like get all this education and shit, and then like get all the money you want, come here and then like settle and shit, and then like fuck everyone else in the country. Like the fuck. And then like yeah, then they kept on beating us, and then they like cuffed us and they took us to the station, and then we were jailed. And then they arrested us. They said they're like, we were suspicious of you guys because you guys were Saudis and things like that. So that's why we arrested you, and that's what they wrote in like receipts
Oh,
as well.
okay. Very sorry that you had to go through that. Okay. What were you doing during that time? Were you working? Were you studying? Or
I was actually working.
and where were you working at the time?
I was working for Uber,
Okay.
Sri Lanka.
So basically, the whole arrest was just based on the idea that you were born in Saudi. But although you're a Sri Lankan,
Yes.
you were born in Saudi,
Yes.
and you have been to Saudi, so you came back and you are a Muslim. So that was the
Yes.
what do you say, the reason for your arrest, right?
Yep.
Okay. So when you were inside, were they still harassing you and beating you guys and all that, or did you all?
Not exactly, but like obviously we felt like we were not in a place that we were supposed to be, because like the first night, like they actually put us in a cell with around like 7 to 8 other guys who were actually fucking criminals, and some of them were like druggies, and they were literally doing drugs in the cell, and we couldn't sleep and shit. So we felt like obviously troubled over there. And then um, afterwards, like they actually, like there was one guy who actually treated us like good. Um, he was actually like a bigger rank officer, and he actually treated us good, and like he knew that like we were actually innocent guys, like just because of the way the country was going is the reason why people had arrested us. So he actually, like, since he was like high ranked, he kind of like used that to help us a bit. He gave us our own cell and stuff like that.
Okay.
So then
So
until
when you were
then, like,
arrested, weren't you allowed to call a lawyer or anything?
not really. We were given one call, and we called our other roommate, and I called my other roommate, and my other friend who got arrested with me called his cousin.
Okay. Okay.
And then after that, there was no communication with uh, outside at all.
Okay. So how long were you guys inside?
So we were in jail for like 26 till the 30th, so like 4 days in jail, and then they took us to court, and they lied on the report that uh, our third roommate, who was actually present on in court that day, had fled the scene, and that's the reason why they what do you call sentenced us to prison. So then after that, after 30th, we uh, they sent us to Valikada, and we were in Valikada for 8 days until the 8th of May.
Okay, so you said they were scolding you about things like you were studying abroad and all that, right?
Yeah.
Was there something that they told particularly about Muslims?
Yeah, like, so apparently when we were getting arrested, one of the people who were actually, who was convicted for this, had studied in Australia, had done his masters and stuff, and then he had come here, and then he did this. So because of that, like, he kind of compared us to him. But yeah, he actually did, like, he used the word tambio, which is like a Sinhalese slang for like Muslims. So he was like, this is what you tambios do. You go out of the country, like, get shit like this done, and then come back and fuck everyone else up.
Okay, so how was your life after you came out from prison? So basically,
It
life after
was
prison.
it was obviously not easy, because it was a big shock for myself. Like, it was out of nowhere, and I had gone to a really dark fucking place for no fucking reason, and I was still, like, processing that, and because of that, like, my mental state was not that great, and it kind of like, you know was the reason that a few problems rose up in my workplace for me, and yeah, kind of like was the reason why I had to like leave that place, Uber. And yeah, like, after that, like, I did all kind of mental exercises, and got through, and I had to bounce back up, so I got another job, and I was actually doing well there, like really well. But then randomly, I get a call from one of these officers who arrested me, and he goes like, "Hey, what are you doing now? I heard your friend left the country. Are you gonna leave the country too? Like, why are you guys leaving the country together? What's up with that?" I'm like, "What the fuck?" And then I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, like, he got a job there. I'm still here. I'm working here, but I don't know whether I'll be leaving soon." But then yeah, like, after the call, I never felt fucking peaceful, and I like saved the number in case I got another call, and I actually did, and I never answered. And then that's why I applied, like, to get out of the country, and then I did.
Did
Like,
okay.
it came to a point where I didn't feel safe anymore. It came to a point where I didn't feel safe to go out with my friends who had beards, or go out with friends like in general, because me being a Muslim, and I know I didn't know whether my record was like still there. So even though like like they just arrest me for something else, there was always a high chance that this record could have been pulled out, and like I didn't even know whether it existed or not, and I didn't want to.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so based on all this, right? What do you think about minorities in Sri Lanka? What is happening to minorities in Sri Lanka?
In general, basically, I'd say that racism is very strong against minorities there in Sri Lanka, especially Muslims.
Do you think that I mean, okay, so you yourself is in Canada, right? And I'm pretty sure you'll see a lot of Sri Lankans who have left the country, because of minorities and they went through hardship. Do you think
Yeah,
that? Do you think that the Muslims are going to be next in line to leave the country?
by the way things are going, I am really not sure, but there is a high chance. And if there is a chance of anyone becoming endangered, then it's probably going to be the Muslims in Sri Lanka first, obviously. But right now, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know what to say because I'm not up to date. I'm going to be honest. I'm not up to date with how the situation is back there. But I still know that there is shit happening towards Muslims around here and there. So I don't know whether that's gonna stop anytime soon. But I mean, I don't know whether it's gonna continue for a long time. But I know that it's not gonna stop anytime soon.
Okay, so you're in Canada, which is literally the other side of Earth, right? And Sri Lanka is like one corner, Canada is one corner. So do you miss home?
I'm sorry. Do I miss home?
Yes.
So, I mean, yeah, obviously, family is there, got friends, memories, everything is there. But just it I'd say it changed after last year's incident, and it just wasn't the same again. I never felt that homely feeling I had in 2018, or you know in 2019 April. I never had that same feeling again after April, and it, it's
Thank you.
crazy. So I couldn't stay, man.
Yeah, I think we're in a state where, because the sad reality, right? If you look at it, everyone is talking about Black Lives Matters, everyone is talking about racism, but no one is talking about what's happening in Sri Lanka. I mean, yes, it's a good thing that we're all standing up for what's right. I mean, you're seeing a lot of people going against racism. It's a very beautiful thing, but we don't realize it. It's happening right in front of us. I mean, being arrested just because you are a Muslim, just because you are in another country, it doesn't justify anything. So I'm very sorry for what you went through, but there's always a saying that says change starts from home. I think
Yeah, that's true.
we as Sri Lankans had to change ourselves first. We had to treat everyone equally, whether it's minority, majority, whatever color skin you have, whatever race you're from, whatever you believe in. I think it's always very important that we all look at each other as one nation, as one country, instead of dividing us based on Muslims, based on a lot of things. So thank you, Michelle, for doing this. Really appreciate it for coming out and speaking what you went through.
No problem, no problem. Anytime,
All
anytime.
right.
I mean, as long as this gets spread, and as long as no one else needs to or has to go through
Yes.
the same thing we did for the same reason we go through, man. I mean, being born and brought up in Saudi for 17 years and then just being in Sri Lanka for 3 years, I'd say like half of the memories that I cherish right now comes from the 3 years that I was in Sri Lanka. Even though like after last year's incident, like it was shit, but it's still created memories, like the strongest memories in my life, and the ones that actually impacted. that gave great impacts to get me to the place where I'm right now. So like
I mean,
as much as
home is always very
exactly, man.
important. So, as you see, a 20-year-old kid was arrested just based on two factors. One, he was a Muslim. Two, he lived in a Muslim country. Although he's a Sri Lankan, he was arrested because of his religion and because of his belief. As a country, as a nation, we can never grow unless we keep our differences aside, we keep our beliefs aside, and look at it as one nation. So, if you're triggered by this, um, if you feel like I put someone down during the video, I'm very sorry. Just to educate people on what's happening, especially to minorities in Sri Lanka. Yes, definitely, not all Sri Lankans are the same. We all grew up as brothers and sisters back home. We celebrate Visak together. We celebrate Christmas together. We celebrate Eid together. That is how we are brought up. But it's just a bunch of extremists in each group that's spreading hate. It can be a political based agenda. It can be just a hate itself. So let's try to make sure that we don't let them win, because every time we fall into the trap of believing that okay, majority is more stronger than the minorities, or minorities have to be treated this way, that is when we fail as a nation. So let's not go there, and let's grow as a country. Let's grow. Let's treat each other as one. Much love.
With me are all my people. I am Tamil, I am Sinhalese, I am Muslim and Burgher. I am a Buddhist, I'm a Hindu, a follower of Islam and Christianity. But above all, today and always, I will be proudly Sri Lankan. Thank you.